We've all heard the saying that there are 7 people in the world who look exactly like each other, but sometimes 2 of them end up becoming famous at the same time. If you've ever mistaken one huge actor for another, you're definitely not alone. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the most shocking celebrity doppelgangers in Hollywood right now, and you may have been wrong about some of them all along. First off, let's talk about Minka and Leighton. For all the kids who grew up in the mid-2000s, Minka Kelly and Leighton Meester are 2 very familiar names. The actresses starred in some pretty iconic shows at the time, including Gossip Girl and Friday Night Lights, which means a lot of us have been noticing their similarities since childhood. Apart from the fact that it's literally impossible to tell them apart, the 2 also happen to be best friends in real life, having met almost 2 decades ago while filming commercials for Clearasil. And if you really want your reality messed with, you can watch the 2 star together in the psychological thriller The Roommate, which was a no-brainer for both of them, according to Minka. After all, who wouldn't want to work with their best friend slash long-lost twin? Next up, we've got these 2 redheads. These 2 get mixed up so often, you probably already know who we're talking about. Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain are almost scarily similar, even though their careers have been completely different. But that doesn't usually matter to fans who run into them, and we can't really blame them. In fact, this same mix-up has happened so many times that a few years ago, Chastain even took to TikTok to clear things up. She knows exactly what the fans think, and she decided to make fun of the situation by writing that people still thought she worked at Jurassic Park, even after her 2-decade-long career. She even added a reference to The Parent Trap at the end, which also featured an iconic set of redheaded twins. And the Jurassic World star doesn't have it easy either. Howard even lip-synced to a song about it a while ago. Both actresses have always taken the mix-ups well, and clearly it's easy for them to laugh it off. Now this pair's so famous, they made music video history. It might just be the iconic early 2000s style bangs, but nobody can deny that Zooey Deschanel and Katy Perry could be sisters, if not twins. The new girl star shares her blue eyes with the world-famous pop sensation, and they set that in stone when Katy dropped the music video for the song Not the End of the World, where Zooey gets mistaken for Katy and aliens abduct her. But the music video was much more recent. Back in the day, the 500 Days of Summer actress said that people would mistake Katy for her before the singer had even become famous. Her friends would apparently call her up all the time, saying they'd seen her somewhere when it was actually just Katy. Up next, Diana isn't this actress's only doppelganger. The Netflix show The Crown is known for its super accurate casting. They've always found some actor who looks exactly like a certain member of the royal family, but when it came to Princess Diana, they outdid themselves. Emma Corrin, who played her in the 4th season, looked exactly like the People's Princess, but that's not actually what she thinks. The actress said that her whole life, people always compared her mom to Diana, but that wasn't ever the case with her. In fact, she was more often compared to the 2-time Academy Award winner, Jodie Foster, in her younger days. We definitely see that resemblance. Both of them had the signature bob, high cheekbones, and pale blue eyes. Maybe we'll see Emma in a Silence of the Lambs remake at some point. Coming up, casting doesn't get more perfect than this. McKenna Grace is probably one of the most popular child stars out there since she's been in a lot of huge projects over the past few years, but when she first made her Hollywood debut, a lot of people noticed her resemblance to Sally Draper from Mad Men, who was played by a young Kiernan Shipka at the time. Fast forward a few years and Shipka landed herself in a starring role of the chilling adventures of Sabrina, Netflix's remake of the popular Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The show had a lot of flashbacks to Sabrina's childhood, and who better to play a young Sabrina than McKenna? Fans were delighted to see the picture-perfect casting decision since it made the show that much more realistic and set off a bunch of tweets and TikToks about how great of a decision it was. Now let's move on to this lucky supermodel. It's great enough to know that you look exactly like one of the most beautiful women in the world, but the only thing that's even better than that is to know you look like 2 of the best-looking ladies around. The only person who can confidently say that is supermodel Kaya Gerber. Being the daughter of the 90s supermodel Cindy Crawford, she already brought some fantastic genes with her. Cindy was known to be one of the women who had the word supermodel invented for them, and the fact that Kaya looks exactly like her definitely helped the younger model's career along. But one thing that fans couldn't help but notice was Kaya's resemblance to another big name, which happens to be Rachel Bilson. Rachel was the girl of everyone's dreams back in the early 2000s when she was still starring on The OC, and the brunette shares a lot of her features with Kaya. If Kaya Zendaya ever decides to take the classic modeling to acting route, we're sure she could pull off a younger version of Rachel in anything. Moving on, we need to look at these two brunettes too. Sarah Hyland and Mila Kunis have more than just their comedy-heavy careers in common. The two both made it as household names, with Sarah starring in Modern Family and Mila starring in That 70s Show, before moving on to a bunch of the world's most iconic rom-coms. But it's also true that the two look insanely similar. It's especially evident when they smile, and if they were the same age, they could probably pass for twins. In fact, when they first met at a party over a decade ago, Mila came up to Sarah and told her she always gets mistaken for her. The two actresses ended up laughing it off, and Mila even said that she sometimes pretends to be Sarah because it makes her feel younger. Sarah had an equally lighthearted response to that, asking if she could pretend to be Mila the next time someone mixed the two of them up. Mila even said that she was okay with it, so if you ever think you ever ran into Mila Kunis on the street, you might just have run into Sarah Hyland instead. Next up, we bet you never thought about this connection. Kris Jenner is known for a lot of things, mainly her famous kids and her reality TV persona, but before any of that, she was married to the lawyer Robert Kardashian, who was part of the infamous O.J. Simpson trials. That brings us to Selma Blair, who's known for her roles in the late 90s and early 2000s movies like Legally Blonde and Cruel Intentions. The two have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but all that changed when Selma played Kris in the miniseries based on the trials, and people started noticing just how much the two looked alike. Now, let's move on to the pair you've definitely seen on screen. It's insane that two of the biggest actresses in Hollywood both look exactly the same, but it's just how it is. If you've seen anything from Star Wars to Pride and Prejudice, you'll already be familiar with Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman. Both are award-winning actresses with huge names in the industry, and both happen to look exactly the same as well. Keira even said in an interview once that she gets chased through airports because people mistake her for Natalie so often, but she just takes the whole thing in stride. According to her, she's even taken pictures and handed out autographs posing as Natalie, and she feels sorry for the other actress because she gets mistaken for Keira just as much. The two had also starred in a movie together when Keira played Natalie's double in The Phantom Menace, one of the Star Wars movies. Coming up next, these two blondes are mirror images. Even though we've talked about a lot of doppelgangers on this list, these two definitely take the cake for the most resemblance to each other. Margot Robbie, the Aussie actress known for her roles in Suicide Squad and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, has always been compared to Jamie Presley, famous for My Name is Earl. The two both have the same blonde hair, but that's not all. They have the exact same facial features as well, and if they played twins in a movie, nobody would bat an eye. The two also have some other doppelgangers out there, since they've both been compared to Emma Mackey from Sex Education and Samara Weaving from Ready or Not. At least we know that if Hollywood ever needs a movie with a set of quadruples in it, they won't need CGI. They can just hire these women instead. And finally, we have to end with two of the biggest stars around. When you think of iconic Hollywood actresses, the one name that comes to mind is probably Angelina Jolie. The actress has been in some of the biggest projects of the past couple decades, and she's known for her philanthropic work, her famous family, and her ex-husband Brad Pitt, and of course, her insane good looks and talent. On the other side of Hollywood, we've got Megan Fox, who made her acting debut much later than Angelina did when she rose to fame in the Transformers movies. Ever since then, she's consistently been labeled one of the most beautiful women in the world, so it makes sense that she reminds a lot of people of another beautiful woman. Megan even talked about the comparisons back in 2009, saying that while she was definitely flattered to be compared to the other actress, she didn't understand why they kept comparing them and said the media just wasn't creative enough. And on that note, we'll wrap up this video. Are there any other insane celebrity doppelgangers we didn't include in this video? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.